Hello, my good people. I hope you have been well. Today I just want us to talk about a little bit of money do's and don'ts. Because money is not easy to come by. So, when you come across it, you want to save it and you want to use it to have a better life. So, at the end of this video, I'd like you to engage me on the comment section on what are some of the money rules that you've learned along your life or that you applied to you that help others as well, because this is a forum where we just share ideas just to make sure that we have smart money moves. All right. Okay. So, the number one and most important rule of money is don't lose money. And I know there is this meme that goes around that if the money that you have cannot solve the problems that you have, eat that money. Sounds familiar? Okay, I don't have a problem with eating your money. But the number one rule of money is never lose money. Because the cost of you reinstating the money that you lost is usually really, really high. Let me try and paint a picture. Najua wengine wenu mwalimu wa math mlikuwa mnamwona akiingia amoni Let's say, for example, if today you lost 10K, you'd need to make 20 for you to reinstate yourself in your prior position because now you need the 10 that you had initially and now the 10 to keep you moving. I don't know whether you get it. Yeah? Anyway, the whole point of this is that the cost of losing money is way too damn high. And so, like, I know we all know about Warren Buffett. He says the rule number one of money is to never lose money. And the rule number two is never forget rule number one. Why? Like we've said, the cost of losing money is way too damn high, right? So I'm going to be sharing some of the tips, or if you want to call them rules, that I use just to make sure that I don't lose money. And yeah, you can engage me down here below and also apply them if you're not. Okay. So, rule number one, colleagues, if you don't get it, forget about it. What do I mean? If maybe your friends come to you and tell you about an investment platform or somewhere that you can invest in, as long as you're not able to explain how that particular thing makes money, then you're not investing. You're just gambling with confidence. And remember, we said the cost of reinstating money that you lost is really, really high. So don't go investing in everything just because people are talking about it. For instance, right now, I know we've all heard about special funds, the likes of Oak Special Fund, the likes of Avocap. And I know sometimes you're just walking in the streets of social media, or if you're like actually interested, yeah, you do your research and then you see maybe they paid a 60% return. And now because you've just had the crazy returns, you just want to jump onto it without knowing how they make their money. Ah, my friend, utapoteza pesa. Sini mimi nakusho. Anyway, the whole point of this is if you don't understand how something works, then don't invest in it. Okay? That's rule number one. And then for me, rule number two, which is just a general rule, you need to protect before you grow. If, say, for example, today you're earning 100,000 and maybe you live frugally and with 50K, you're able to cater for all your expenses and now you have 50K. I'll tell you this for a fact. Before you grow the money that you have, protect the money that you have. You can't just take that 50K and put it somewhere just because a friend of yours told you, I put my money here and I made money. Let me use an example of Bitcoin. I know Bitcoin works for the people that it has worked for, but you can't just jump into it because your friends told you they're making money from it without understanding how it works. Okay? So, for this money that you quote unquote you have to spare, make sure you protect it before you grow it. And by this I mean make sure first of all you've grown your emergency fund, make sure you're liquid enough, to meet your short-term obligations. Because remember, each investment, apart from government, and even for government nowadays, it's not 100% sure that is considered risk free. Each investment has a risk. So just make sure the money that you can lose is money that you're actually willing to lose. Don't lose everything. Okay? So we said number one, if you don't understand it, don't get into it. And number two, protect before you grow. Because at the end of the day, if you put your money somewhere and you lose it, you'll still have to meet your daily obligations. If you're renting, you still need to pay rent. If you still need to eat, you have a child, maybe you still need to pay school fees. Okay. Um, Rule number three is to match your investments to your goals. Okay. For example, let me just use this special fund example again. Most of those special funds, they'll tell you to tie in your money for like an year or 6 months. Okay. But remember, these things, as much as they have good returns, they are also really risky. So, for example, if your goal is short term, for instance, you have school fees to pay in January. I know kids are in for the long holidays. Maybe you want to go for a vacation in December. That's something short term. So, for these, you just need to consider short term safe assets. Because remember, if something is in the short term, you need something that you can quickly liquidate. Okay. So, personally, I don't advocate for savings accounts because they don't give you a really good rate. But this is where the likes of the money markets and treasury bills come in. Okay. If it's long term, for example, you're saving up for retirement, and just instead of just putting your money in the bank, this is where you can decide to go for the likes of the mutual funds, the stocks, the ETFs. I did a video on ETFs, you can decide to do an investment. Okay. The whole point of this is don't mix short-term needs with long-term investments. Okay, you need to have it clear as day. This is what I want to achieve in the short term. This is what I want to achieve in the long term, so that you're able to plan your money accordingly. Okay. And just a little just here, remember sleepers aren't for marathons. So you need to have the right quote unquote shoes for the right thing that you're actually doing at that particular time. Okay. Finally, not finally, I know we have all had time and time again, yeah? Do not put all your eggs in one basket. And there is nothing truer than that. Because, say, for example, we say some of the safest places that you can put your money are circles. But you can't just put all your money in a circle. What if something, you don't understand the insider business that goes in there? So what if you put all your money in a circle and then that circle fails? Or a company that's calling itself an investment company. You put all your money there and then you get to lose it? Sometimes, when you put all your eggs in one basket, if the basket falls, you'll break all your eggs and then you'll have nothing left. So always remember to spread your risk. You can spread your risk across risk-free assets or lower risk assets and higher risk assets. Because remember, we said when you lose money, getting it back is going to be really, really hard. Okay. And then just because people are advertising and saying they're guaranteeing you 20% return, 12% return, does not mean you should put all your money there. First of all, chances are if you ever hear them say that, you should run away. But anyway, that's on a light note. My whole point here is try as much as you can to spread your risk so that even if one goes down, then you still have another. Okay. Then there's something we call FOMO. There are people who just have the fear of being left out. You hear people are buying shares, you want to run and buy shares. You hear people are doing forex, you want to run and do forex. You're just jumping on any bandwagon. Hauna msimamo. Let me tell you, if you follow the crowds, the chances of you losing your money are extremely high. And I can tell you this for sure. Research shows that FOMO has destroyed more wealth than bad markets ever will do. Okay? So just because everyone is doing it or claims to be doing it doesn't mean that you should. I want to remind you of the likes, maybe I'm old, but do you remember the likes of Ekeza, or was it called Gakuyo Sako? There was a time hiyo ndio ilikuwa kusema, yeah? And then it collapsed with people's money and the likes of crowd one, just these pyramid schemes. Just don't get into something just because people are getting into it. I promise you, FOMO is going to make you lose out on a lot. Remember my rule number one? If you don't understand it, don't do it. Okay? Right. And then there's something that most people ignore: the fees and the taxes. Maybe you've actually done your research, and let's talk about ETFs, for example. You've understood how they work, and you're like, oh, yeah, so this is exactly what I want to get into. What most people don't consider is, for example, if you buy ETFs in the US stock market, how much is the government going to tax you for you to repatriate those funds back home? How much is your broker charging you? Most people don't pay attention to these small things, and this is what will erode your wealth. I like to say, just like termites, they're very silent but deadly because they eat into your returns without you noticing it. Yeah. So you'll find that maybe in the grand scheme of things, you had made a return of, for ease of calculation, $100. But after taxes and everything, you're taking home $30. Then that's absolutely not what you're time. So what most people don't consider is fees and taxes. And I mean, At this point, understanding how taxes work should just be basic knowledge. So, yeah, let's consider fees and taxes and also the risk. I'll always say a safe 10% return beats a risky 20% return that could wipe you out. You don't want all your finances to be wiped out, okay? And then I've had lots of people telling you, oh, just put that money there and forget. But I can tell you for a fact, markets shift. In Kenya, for example, we had the likes of Mumias, we had the likes of Nakumat that collapsed. So if you had bought your shares there and then you did not go back to review, you were just waiting for you to retire and then take your money, very many people lost their money. Okay, so as much as people are encouraged to put your money there and forget, I'm of a contrary opinion, especially the Kenyan market. It's not that developed for you to just take it and leave it there. So always review and rebalance, because the same way markets shift is the same way your portfolio should shift. Okay, don't just set it and forget about it. Yeah, so those are some of the rules that I follow to make sure that I don't lose a lot of money. Share down below what yours are. And thank you. Thank you for taking your time to watch. Also, remember to subscribe and share. Bye.